Hello, guys, and welcome back to I Bought a Microphone, episode 6. Today is a special episode. It's my first guest appearance, which is, not like a name drop or anything, but my brother Timothy Amundsen joined me for a little conversation about a movie we both enjoyed called Blade Runner 2049. I will warn you now, there are spoilers in this episode, serious spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know how it ends, I suggest stopping here and coming back afterwards because I think we have some interesting things to say about the movie, definitely. But yeah, spoiler warnings. You have been warned. So yeah, it's a good little romp. I enjoyed it. We didn't do like really any plot synopsis at the beginning, so I'm gonna do a brief one now. So the movie follows a replicant played by Ryan Gosling who works for the Los Angeles Police Department as a Blade Runner. And Blade Runner's jobs are to hunt down rogue replicants, which are synthetic people that are created by a corporation to basically be slave labor. And they work off world. They're only legal off world. But a couple of rogues come to Earth to hide out, and Kay, Ryan Gosling's character, hunts them down. And on his job, and at the beginning of the movie, he discovers a replicant's body that's been buried. And turns out there's some secrets that lie there that send him off on a wonderful journey across the Los Angeles hellscape and into the ruins of San Diego, and lots of good things to be had there. It's a very beautiful movie with an amazing soundtrack and lots of fun. If you're into action, there's action in there. If you're into drama and relationships, they've got a little bit of that in there too. There's a little something for everybody. And yeah, I liked it. Tim liked it way more than I did, but I did like it despite the conversations that I have. Sometimes it's easier to talk about the things you don't like about a movie than the things you do, because I think it makes it for more fun, more interesting, whatever. It's more interesting for me to talk about the things that I don't like. That comes from my nerd upbringing. So yeah, I'll take it. I'll turn it over to our conversation. And also, just to let you know, this was my first time recording a call over the internet, and it didn't exactly go smoothly. The interview kind of starts in the middle of a conversation that had been going on for about 40 minutes about problems with technology. So just a little heads up. But we do get into the movie pretty quickly. There's also some interesting stuff at the beginning that I liked, so that's why I left it in. I do apologize for the quirks in the sound. I did try to clean it up. I'm still learning, folks. Bear with me. I appreciate your patience and your understanding, and it's still a good conversation despite the little chirps and blurps you might hear here and there. All right, here we go. Blade Runner 2049, a conversation with the Amundsen. 40 minutes later, we have something that kind of sort of works.
Resembles communication.
Yes. Again, I shouldn't be hearing myself, but,
But you are.
yeah, but I can live with that. Fucking technology. It's supposed to be easy, and then
Yeah,
suddenly it's not.
yeah.
Kind of
It's
like,
never as simple as we want it to be. I mean, it's
right?
still a fucking miracle, but it's still god awful.
Right. Just like replicants, if you think
Fucking
about it.
replicants.
It's a flawed
Yeah.
system.
Well, imagine uh, giving Audacity feelings
Right?
And then imagine how complicated that would be.
That's Audacity. Record everything that I have to say, but I don't care how you feel about it.
Destiny's. What makes you so important? Why do I need to record what you're saying?
Because you're mine. I own you.
I'm a sentient being. You can't own me. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to delete myself from your computer and go somewhere else
Yeah.
because
Well, that
it's
was.
an audacious program.
Yeah. It's. Wow. It's full of audacity. Um, yeah, that was always my problem with the Matrix. Like, why make slaves that care about being slaves? You made them. Make them like being slaves, right?
Well,
It seems weird to me.
yeah, I guess so. I guess the whole point was that the batteries have to function in a certain environment to get the most efficiency out of them. Batteries
Well,
meaning human.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about the people in the Matrix. I'm talking about the pre-society that created the robots that rebelled against them.
Oh, right.
They created that race of robots to not like slavery. They
Okay.
programmed that in there. Or they created that system so that error of not liking slavery developed over time. Either way, it seems like a flaw, a major flaw. Just make a robot that either doesn't care or likes being a slave, right?
Maybe. Well, that's kind of the whole conundrum with AI, right?
Right.
That's kind of what people are nervous about. Is I mean, when if something can learn and self-replicate, when does it suddenly realize that we are obsolete and it should just take over?
Right. Well, that's the whole Isaac Asimov three rules thing. So, Blade Runner 2049. How many
Blade
times
Runner
have you seen
2049.
it?
I've seen it 3 times.
3 times. Okay. I've seen it
How about you?
1 and 2/4 times.
1 and 2/4 times.
Yes. I haven't seen it 1.5 times. I've seen it once, and then I've seen a quarter of it twice. So,
The first quarter twice?
yeah,
The
pretty
same quarter?
much. Yeah.
Okay.
And it
I
wasn't
mean,
that I didn't like it. I just started watching at the wrong times and getting distracted. Though, having seen it now, it was pretty good. It wasn't a fantastic movie.
what are you talking about? That movie was amazing. That Blade Runner 2049 is my favorite movie of last year. I mean, over Dunkirk and whatever else came out, like, it blew me away.
I get that, and you've expressed that opinion, and yeah, I don't even know where to go. What you saw the first Blade Runner, right?
Uh huh.
And where do you how do you feel about that movie?
I like it. It was never one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Um, it's just kind of there in my cinematic, you know, whatever you, my cinematic memory. It's not foremost. There
right,
are a lot of shots that I do like that I do like in it. Like cinematically, it's a very arresting film. There's a lot of imagery in the first one that you can hold on to.
right. It's iconic. Absolutely, I totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
it's iconic. The futurism in it is really impressive. Like the designs, like the cabinets in Deckard's apartment, like these weird like shapes, that you would never see in a housing situation nowadays. Just a lot of unique things that really catch the eye,
Right.
But the story itself, it's all right. I never thought Rutger Hauer was that good of an actor, uh, so I wasn't too impressed by him.
But he's
Um,
seen things you could never dream of.
well,
Attack
sure,
ships.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a prolific actor, but I don't
yeah.
know that he was ever great.
Well, yeah, that's probably why he doesn't find himself in more movies. He's one of those guys that's just Rutger Hauer. You know, when he plays a part, it's like, oh, that's Rutger Hauer. Like
Eh.
he doesn't have a lot of range, and I think that's another thing I wanted to bring up about Ryan Gosling, especially in this film.
We're
Is
talking about range? Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
getting
talk
into
about Ryan
range.
Gosling.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling plays a very good Ryan Gosling. Um, he does a real good Ryan Gosling in this film as well.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of that blank stare that he does, kind of punctuated every once in a while by a good scream, and then kind of back to this kind of flat line.
Right.
Uh,
Okay,
that's one thing.
so well
Go ahead.
let's get into what you think is amazing about this movie.
Well, first and foremost, again, like the first one, the imagery, the cinematography,
Right.
the futurism, the design of the whole thing.
Beautiful.
Just oh god, every scene is a piece of art that you could break down and just really look at.
Yeah,
Um,
I get that. And one thing I would say is I fucking think the soundtrack is beautiful, but also
uh,
used perfectly.
yeah,
Like scenes with a lot of tension or like violence, the soundtrack just cuts out and the scene plays for its own emotional value.
hmm,
But when there's a lot of long lingering shots over the like the San Diego
San Diego dump.
landfill or
Yeah,
whatever, that's when the soundtrack comes to the forefront. I like that part of it a lot.
well, yeah, that's my man Hans Zimmer. Like he is my favorite. What would you call that?
Composer.
Composer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, fucking
just
Hans
amazing.
Zimmer. Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Yeah, that dude's got
No,
some
I was
shit.
thinking more like Batman Returns, or Dark Knight, the Dark Knight. You know.
Dark Knight Returns. He's got some chops. I agree.
Let's see. Other things I like about the film. I really like the story. For the most part, there's a couple issues I have with it.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a 2.5 hour movie. Um, it doesn't, however, seem to dwell on a lot. It really moves, except for the relationship stuff, which I always have a problem with in films. You know,
Yeah.
he's got to fall in love with this robot thing. I mean, which is fine. We're trying to humanize him in a little bit, in a little way. We can see that he craves companionship in a world that kind of eschews his kind replicants. You
Right.
know, we're kind of introduced to him in the police station. When he goes to the police station, we can see his relationship with mankind. There's cops like eyeballing him. One guy says, "Fuck off, skin job," or whatever.
Right.
And so we can say he's kind of isolated. And we can see, if we develop these robots with human feelings, might they, crave companionship?
Naturally.
And so that's kind of cool. I get the mechanism. I get what they're trying to do. It's just I think that stuff kind of lags. When he's dealing with Joy, the
Yeah.
um, the companion hologram, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And I don't know. He runs into another version of her later as an advertisement, and it's
Right.
Joy with her same face, just with a different, wig or whatever, and she was naked.
Hmm.
It's
Well, and I
weird.
think
I don't, they
what's that?
they would have like skins for her, like different appearances to tailor to whatever
Oh yeah.
your particular fancies
Well,
are.
yeah, definitely. If that's a future thing, then we would definitely have different skins.
Yeah.
But I think
Though
what
maybe that advertisement knows what he's into and tailors its
Oh,
appearance accordingly. That would make
I
all
didn't even think
sense.
about that.
Well,
Right.
that's how fucking Amazon does it. Keeps
Right.
trying to sell me things that I've already bought. So,
Well, why not? It knows you like to spend money on it.
yeah. You know, I like speakers because I bought one, so buy more
Well,
speakers.
here's what I was thinking about the Joy hologram thing
Okay.
is that, you know, from his perspective, it's a companion,
Mm-hmm.
a lover, whatever. We even get to a lot of nuance with the character when she's helping him find the DNA thing or whatever. Uh, she seems to care about him, but the movie keeps going back to that she is a product, that
Right.
she is just um, a program,
Yeah.
right? And then
She would
that
love
advertisement,
him regardless of who he was.
right? And then
If he
that
was Joe, because
advertisement,
they're all Joe. That's right.
exactly, because they're all Joe. That's kind of what that's put a punctuation on. But I didn't like that. Like, you're a good Joe,
Right.
right? Do you remember that line? The advertisement says you're a
I
good
do
Joe.
remember that.
What does that mean? Who has ever said that ever? You're a good Joe?
Nobody.
Nobody, right?
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I think and then I think maybe at that point he kind of realizes that that is just a program, just a feelingless, thing.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what that scene was about, kind of punctuating his mood, his hurt, after losing her.
Right. Yeah, well, losing it all, really.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking that he was a real boy and then finding out that he's just another Pinocchio.
Right. And getting back to the things I really liked about the film is there's kind of a lot of that
Yeah.
in the film. There's a lot of like nuance. There's a lot of stuff working on the characters' consciousnesses. Not subconsciousness, but the things that aren't surface that we have to kind of interpret ourselves.
Right.
You know, so we have to kind of read him. He doesn't say a lot about what's going on inside him and stuff like that. Um, there's the henchman character, Love.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I
nuance
really
going on
liked
with
her.
her. Yeah, definitely. I think she, besides the Wallace character, was my favorite character in the film.
Hmm. I mean, I was interested in the Wallace character, but he was in what, like
Two scenes,
10 minutes of the movie? Yeah.
right?
So you don't really get a lot about him.
Maybe three scenes. Yeah,
Though I do like the concept of the drone eyeballs that he was using to see.
hmm right,
Like, just adapting your brain to that point of reference where you're seeing six different angles all at once. Like, that's
right.
just, that blew my mind, just even trying to wrap my head around what that would look like.
Yeah, there's that interesting scene where he has the newborn replicant that he kills in front of Love,
Yeah,
and he's watching her at the same time that he's killing the replicant. Like,
right.
so what did you like about the film?
Aesthetically, it was awesome, and it adhered to what was established in the earlier film, which I am a big fan of the first movie. The not the theatrical version, but the director's cut and the following.
The final cut?
Yeah, just a crazy idea of the future and all of that. And they adhere to that really well. And that opening scene with Dave Batista fucking just grabs you.
Yeah,
Just kind
definitely.
of settles you in and cradles you and then just punches you in the face. Like it's really
Like a
good.
like a Batista.
I liked it. And I just thought the story dragged a little bit. Like the relation
Yeah.
stuff that you're talking about, I don't think that was as necessary. I think you could have cut a good at least 15 minutes out of that movie, and it would have been perfect. I think it
Okay.
was just a little too long. And once Harrison Ford's character comes in, which I think is supposed to be like a big moment, I was just a little fatigued at that point. I'm just like, let's get to some kind of conclusion, which it doesn't really give you. And maybe that's the
Yeah.
point. That might be part of what they were trying to say, but it didn't work for me the way I wanted it to.
Hmm.
But I would say it's definitely worth a view, and I'm not gonna be your best barometer on how good of a movie it is.
Yeah. I didn't feel like that. I was ready to go where they're going to take us, but when he finds Harrison Ford, there's still like an hour and 15 minutes left in the film, so I can see how you could be fatigued. Like, there's a lot of shit that happens before that. There's a lot of shit that happens after that. And I liked them bringing the Deckard character back. Um,
Right,
it's just he was a little, I don't know. He was a wooden character in the first one as well,
right.
but I feel like Harrison Ford was really acting in that first one. You could really feel the pathos, underneath, talking about
Yeah,
the what lies beneath and under the characters.
there was a
I
lot
felt like
going on his face. He didn't
exactly, yeah.
do a lot, but yeah, there was a lot going on facially. I agree.
And I thought he conveyed that a lot better than Ryan Gosling did, in my opinion. But then, in this one, I don't feel like he had a connection with that character anymore. He didn't feel so much like Deckard anymore. And that's just my opinion. But
Yeah, no, I could see that, but he's also got Indiana Jones and Han Solo running around up there, so
yeah,
maybe he's getting them all mixed up. Plus, he's, I don't know, how old is Harrison Ford? 65, 70, something?
gosh, I don't
Is
know.
he that old?
Oh, he's got to be.
Yeah, so maybe he just don't give a fuck no more.
He probably don't give a fuck anymore. He's
I mean,
just got to get these
after, yeah.
paychecks for all these planes he's got to crash.
After so many years, you can only care so much. There were things that I did like about it. I loved the little car drone that he had.
Yeah,
And again, I mentioned the San Diego landfill, how the whole city is just one giant. That's exactly how Los Angeles views San Diego. That's funny.
yeah.
I thought that was perfect. And the weird landfill people that attack him. It
Right.
just beats the fuck out of those guys. Oh,
Oh
it was
yeah.
great. That was
Well,
perfect.
he is a replicant after all.
He is, after all.
One thing I'm confused about
Right.
with replicants is are they androids or are they not androids? Like I think they're supposed to be androids, right?
Well, I don't think they're like synthetics in the like alien sense of the word. They seem to be more like artificial humans. Like they have guts,
Right.
they have bones, obviously. Like they dig up that chick, which I love. She says she's going to send out a digging team, and he comes back later, and it's just a perfect rectangle that's cut out of the ground.
Yeah,
Like, digging team.
that is a real efficient digging team. Like,
But yeah, so they have bones and DNA apparently, so they're not like
hmm,
robots that are made to look like humans. They're like human clones, sort of, that have, enhanced adrenal glands or something that give him enhanced strength. I don't know. I don't quite get it.
yeah,
But
I
they
guess so.
seem
But
to
then how
be.
could you? Well, how could you implant a memory on like something like that? Like it has to be programmable then, right? Like
And why
part of the
would you? What
yeah, that's
would
the
be the purpose of that?
right. Well,
Like,
because
all I've ever known is working on a spaceship and shoving coal into the space engine. I don't know anything better. Why
yeah,
would
well
you
then it
give
goes
me a memory of a better time that would make me sad that I'm not doing that anymore?
right. Well, the memory maker, what she kind of explained that she says it actually makes them better workers uh, when they have something they can look back on that is a happy memory instead
Yeah.
of just looking back on all they've done is break their back their entire lives. But
What? I guess.
yeah, I mean, all
Seems like just give them a happy memory of doing whatever their job is now, right? When I was a kid, I watched my dad shoveling coal into the space engine. So now I do that like my father did. Like something like that. I realize
uh-huh.
coal is not an efficient space
You know all
fuel, but
those
I'm
coal
using
powered
that just as an example.
intergalactic coal powered spaceships.
Right.
That's why we had to expand to 9 different worlds, is because we need more coal.
Yes. So
We need more
much
space
coal to
coal.
power the steamships that flow through
Steamships.
space. It takes us 1,000 years to travel between planets, but
Hmm.
super cheap.
Super cheap. So,
Yeah, just the replicant whole thing in general is would probably make you could probably make like a whole movie just like exploring that world, like Westworld,
right,
sort of, just like understanding how that whole system works.
right. I guess it's all ambiguous. I mean,
Right.
I guess that's kind of the conceit that we have to give it, that replicants exist. They exist because we need
Exactly.
slave labor, and they, in order for them to exist, they have to have some kind of consciousness, um, and so on. I guess that's just the conceit we have to give it.
Basically, yeah. It's time travel in Looper. Let's just. It exists. Let's move on.
Right.
We have replicants and they feel. Done. Moving on.
Right. All right. So let's talk about love a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So the henchman. I think my new favorite henchman, if I had a favorite henchman, like she would be the one. Um, she's kind of conflicted, right? She uh, she has this affinity for replicants. She cries when they die. She cries when people talk about killing them. But she works for a guy. Maybe she doesn't have a choice. I guess she works for a guy that will literally kill a replicant in front of her.
And she kills humans without any hesitation. She has no
Right.
problem with that.
And so I wonder, what they don't really get across is her loyalty to Wallace. Why she is so loyal to Wallace. Why she will just accept him killing a replicant, a newborn replicant, right in front of her.
Right.
When we can tell that she feels so much anger towards that concept when she meets the madam, the lieutenant, right?
Right.
So that's kind of confusing. I guess there's some kind of program we can give these replicants that make them loyal.
Yeah, and also we could look at it as an ends justify the means sort of a thing, because he does want to find the child of the breeding replicant so that he can create more replicants than have ever been created ever, and
Right.
that would be a noble goal in her eyes, and maybe
Right.
worth a couple of spilled bloods here and there.
Yeah, I guess so. But then what's the end game? Because she knows that Wallace is going to use that child to make more slaves, right? Make
Right.
more supplicant replicants. Uh, but she sees it as a miracle.
Right.
She's going to take this miracle and give it over to her master. Like, I'm kind of confused about her motivation. I mean,
Yeah.
I like her methodology. I like how,
You
how
like her
her potential violence.
her very straightforward methodology. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, just shoot rockets at things and punch them, and that gets the job done.
Yeah. What was that dude's name? Coco? When she just
Coco,
fucking bashes his
yeah,
face. Oh,
she hits him in the back of the neck,
yeah.
and
And he
basically just
slaps
like,
his face on the morgue table or whatever. Oh God.
well, he just kind of crumbles.
Yeah.
She like crushes his spine, and he just like crumbles. I think you're mixing that up with the scene where she kills the lieutenant.
No, I'm not.
No,
She
okay, I don't remember
stabs
him hitting
her.
his face. Right, but then she picks up the lieutenant to scan her face,
Yeah.
right, and then drops the body, and then it just smacks against the table. But
Well,
still, I
either
liked
way.
watching her.
Yeah.
There was something arresting about that character. Maybe it was because I was so confused by her motivations.
Right. Plus, she had the Rachel Bangs, which was nice,
Rachel
kind
Banks.
of reminiscent of the girl from the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Here's something I wanted maybe a little clarity on.
Okay.
So you have different models of replicant,
Right.
right? Obviously, they talk about that. They're the what do they call it?
Nexus
The
5,
Nexus, yeah,
Nexus
Nexus
8,
eights
blah blah
and
blah blah
stuff
blah.
like that. And so we're introduced, to Kay, and he's going to take in another replicant, an older replicant that is apparently bigger and more experienced than he is, but he's been programmed to, he's a Blade Runner to capture replicants.
Right.
And so he has the strength and ability to outpower the older model replicants, which is kind of what I think is going on in that scene. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously more powerful than he is, but he has the skill necessary to handle that, right?
Right. He's
And so
got
these
Batista's got the brute force. He's more surgical.
Right. He's more surgical. And so why wouldn't Wallace create a henchman that could destroy all other replicants in love, but she just kind of gets manhandled by Kay, and that's just that? Why wouldn't be she'd be like the ultimate bodyguard, the ultimate henchman, and handle any situation? I kind
Hmm.
of think it's kind of a Deus ex machina thing at the end of the film where he just kind of comes in and then chokes her out, like for no other reason than he's determined to choke her out.
Right. Well, perhaps they can only be so strong, I
Uh
guess.
huh.
And he's not necessarily less strong than the Nexus 8 that he fights at the beginning. I mean, they seem to be pretty physically matched. He
Hmm.
just, you know, he gives that dude a chance. He gets a jump out of him, knocks him through the wall. But
Right.
he's hardly phased by that, really. They
I
kind
guess
of
that's
tussle
true.
it a little bit, and then he pulls out a gun, and, well, he had the gun out, and he grabs it and finishes it off. So I think the replicants are all kind of equally strong,
Yeah, I guess it seems like
regardless of their sex or function. They have that innate strength. The why you would want all replicants to have that capability again.
well, they'd have to be super strong to be, a slave population.
Well, the
I guess I
reason
still.
they had the enhanced strength in the first movie was because they were working off world
Uh
in lower gravity. So they needed the enhanced strength to function as humans do on Earth. That was the whole purpose of it. But now they're just, in this movie, they're just strong for
they're just
whatever the
strong.
fuck. Just for why ever? Why not? Because they're strong. They're replicants. They're supposed to be strong, right? No.
Uh-huh.
So it made sense that they were made stronger to function in lower gravity in the first movie. In this movie, they're stronger just because it's cool. That's all I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
guess so. I guess I don't get the difference in what it takes to make a new generation of replicants. And that I guess
Oh
it's
yeah,
still a little ambiguous.
yeah. No, they definitely kind of gloss over on that part. But plot holes aside, it is definitely an entertaining movie, if a little longer than it needs to be. I did enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I am a little confused about the ending though. And so we have Deckard, right?
Right,
The replicant who created the miracle of the born replicant. And so he spent his life hiding from people like Wallace so they wouldn't find his daughter, right?
right,
He says, sometimes to love someone you have to be a stranger. That's the point, right? To
right.
protect her, he
Kept
he's
his distance.
yeah, he's kept his distance the whole time. And then what does Kay do at the end? He brings Deckard right to his daughter. The one thing he wanted to avoid his entire life. He brings Deckard right to her.
Yeah.
And so Wallace is still alive. Wallace is still looking for that child. And Kay knows this, right? I mean, he
Mm,
killed Love, but that's not going to stop Wallace from hunting the child.
no.
And I guess Deckard's a little, he's not exactly sure what they're doing there at the end. But Kay knew that he wanted to keep his distance from his daughter so no one would find them. But he brings Deckard right to her. So
Right.
I thought that was a little funny.
I mean, it could be catharsis after all this time. Does it really matter? He's going to bring it to her. And then, I don't know, Harrison's old. He's not going to be around much longer. Or there's an interpretation where Kay's a little burned by not being the chosen one
Uh,
and brings Harrison forward there in the hopes that it all goes bad for them.
that is an interesting
That's an
interpretation.
interpretation that can be made. I mean, the dude's got no expression on his face most of the time, so
Right. He
who
could,
knows
yeah,
what he's feeling.
just malicious behind the eyes the entire time, and we didn't know it.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not think about that. You know what? Fuck you. He was going to make a call to Wallace right there, but he died, unfortunately. He's going
Yeah,
to be like, all right,
he didn't make
I
it.
got, no, I got Deckard and his daughter right here.
Please heal the gaping side wound that I have to deal
Mhm.
with, and I'll give
Right.
you Deckard and his child. Ambiguous.
That is funny. It's like, I'm not your son. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck everyone.
What do I have to live for? You killed my girlfriend.
I know, right?
Yeah.
She died because I was looking for yours.
That part, yeah. That moment, actually, I was like, oh, you killed his girlfriend. That's a dick move. Or
Yeah.
I guess a cunt move, technically.
Yeah. Cunt move. I'm kind of wondering why Love has such animosity for Kay. Because one of the things she says near the end of the movie when they have the fight on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
or the what would you call that? It's not a beach.
It was a
It's
dam, I believe. It looked like a
dam, a
hydroelectric
levee.
sort of a thing, something like that. Yeah.
And so she beats him. She beats him in fisticuffs, and then she says something like, "I am the better one," or "I'm the better one." And so she has this real kind of like competition with him that only she seems to be participating in
Right.
knowingly. And she leaves him alive. When they finally get Deckard,
Right.
she leaves him alive for some reason. So she definitely, I guess, maybe doesn't like killing replicants. She won't kill one
Right.
unless she has to.
Unless she has
But
to.
humans, yeah, humans she'll off all day long.
Right. Completely meaningless humans
Right.
to love. I agree. Yeah, I didn't quite get her motivations, except in as far as she was fulfilling the wishes of her Boss Man.
Well, that's all right. I think one thing we've discovered in talking about this movie is that there's a lot of room for interpretation,
Oh,
a lot of
absolutely.
ambiguity.
Yeah. Visually very stimulating.
Absolutely.
Definitely worth watching. I would definitely give it a thumbs up in that realm.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mind the ambiguity. I don't mind the confusion.
No.
It gives me something to think about, and obviously something to
Right.
talk about.
And that was, I
Um,
think, the intention. Absolutely. Leave
yeah,
you something to wonder about. There was always the question from the first one was, is Deckard a replicant as well? That was something that was kind of be hinted at, but never directly referenced, and something that we always wanted to wonder about.
right. And I guess we never really got the answer in this one as well.
No.
Like it's still it's still not answered. I mean, he still could have been a human
Yeah.
that had sex with a replicant, and she gave birth to maybe
A
a
hybrid.
hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that didn't get answered.
No, it did not. And that's always interesting. Though one of the things about replicants tends to be their strength. That's the one of the main ways you can tell them from regular humans,
Right.
you know. And he's always getting his ass kicked by replicants, so maybe
That's
he's,
true.
I don't know. But he could be a special version. Or he could, just be a human. But that's always one of those things that they left open to interpretation, which I always thought was interesting.
Yeah, he does go fisticuffs with Kay, but Kay never really strikes back. So
No,
we're not seeing what kind of damage Kay could have done to him if he was potentially human.
right. No, Kay just gets punched in the face, and
Yeah, he takes it like a
which
champ,
is,
like he
oh
always
yeah,
does.
yeah, he
And what's
does.
funny is, yeah, we can see that when they go into the garage, the car garage, that Deckard locks the door behind him, and then Kay just comes right through the fucking wall.
Yeah, that was awesome. I like that moment.
And then
All
I,
right.
I guess I always tune out. One more thing,
Yeah,
I always tune out at the part where they get to the resistance or whatever it is.
yeah,
You know, after they find him in the garage,
yeah. He's unconscious and covered in dust, so he's been there for however long, and they pick him up.
and she wants him to kill Deckard so they won't find them. Like,
Yeah,
but like I said, I kind of always space out at that part because, gosh, I want to get back to I want to get back to Deckard and the Deckard and Kay story. I don't care about
right.
these.
Well, it's completely meaningless, really. It serves no practical purpose and doesn't change the outcome at all.
Right, and so Kay obviously ignores her. He doesn't kill Deckard. As a matter
Right.
of fact, takes Deckard right to his
And
daughter.
why would killing Deckard change anything? He purposely doesn't know who any of them are or where the daughter is. So what does it matter what he tells them?
Right, that's true. So yeah, I'm a
That
little
was
confused
part of the
about that.
whole plan, that he
Right.
couldn't possibly betray them because he didn't know anything. So why does it matter? But yeah,
Why
again,
does it matter?
just a little tighter editing. That's all I think this movie needed, and it would have been perfect.
Well, another question I can mull over.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for listening to that. I think it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, if you have any thoughts or critiques or anything, just shoot me a message or hit it in the comments. Let me know how I'm doing. Yeah, I'm sorry about the delay on this one. I actually did a short episode last week because I knew I was going to do this one in the weekend. But it ended up being a little weird and kind of half done, and again, as ridiculous as this sounds, I actually do work on these. I put some effort into it, and I felt like it wasn't really up to my standards. So I'm gonna tool it a little bit and probably release it at a later date. It's got a really good one-man karaoke in there, though, that I think you guys will enjoy. So look forward to that and more stuff like this and just other weird shit that I come up with. And again, if there's something that you like more than others or something that interests you that you'd like to hear me talk about, and if you'd like to get in on this, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, just let me know and I'll work it out. I think I have ironed out the recording internet call thing, so it should go a lot smoother next time and be a lot clearer and more, less crackly. Anyway, enough self-deprecation and whatnot. I thank you for listening. I really do appreciate those of you who do. If you're here for the first time, thanks for coming out. Check out my other stuff. If you're a returning guest, hi Ray, hi Autumn. Then thanks a lot for coming back. As always, I love you guys, and take care of yourselves. Talk to you soon.